Douglas Taylor, hitherto best known for pulling off a betting coup with D4 Dave Patrick McCann. This article was first published in April 2018 for a horse who appears to be quite out of the ordinary. It is only fitting that Samcro is the work of a man who is not your average jump breeder. Douglas Taylor had hitherto been best known for pulling off a gamble straight out of the pages of a Dick Francis thriller. In the infamous plot of June 2010, the CEO of outsourcing firm McCann passed 200 assistants, many of them foreign nationals not fluent in English, to maintain secrecy, instructions to each place a bet on his horse D4 Dave to win at Kilbeggan, along with a €200 stake in a watch with the alarm set for 5 minutes before the race so the money would go down simultaneously to protect the price. D4 Dave, who had been available at 14-1 on the morning of the race, duly trotted up by 7 lengths at 5-1, sealing a coup that cost bookmakers a reported six-figure sum. That is not the only tale that illustrates how Taylor does not conform to expectations. He has also managed to breed 2 Cheltenham Festival winners from the only 2 brood mares he has ever owned, and is the proprietor of a popular young stallion in Jetaway who he is supporting by granting him access to Samcro's Dam Dun Dun. Getting the D4 Dave escapade out of the way before the serious business of breeding, Taylor reflects, "I made the mistake of telling a journalist at the time that I was getting married and it would pay for the wedding. I ended up being tormented by all the tabloids. Journalists were ringing from Australia. The gamble was really for the fun of it, not the money. I'll know not to open my mouth next time." Now Taylor is back in the news for his brilliance with bloodstock rather than bookie bashing. He bred Samcro, hailed as the most exciting young jumper of recent times, and the smooth winner of the Ballymore Novices Hurdle at Cheltenham last month, to remain unbeaten, out of the unraced Saddler's Hall mare Dun Dun. The dam is a sister to the classy pair Featherbed Lane and master of the Holland, half-sister to last month's Leinster National winner Pyrof Brown Eyes. Samcro wins the Ballymore Novices Hurdle to remain unbeaten. Edward Whittaker 7 years earlier at the festival, homebred final approach by Pivotal out of the well-related, winning Assis mare College Fund Girl, carried Taylor's silks to Pip Get Me Out of Here at the post in the county hurdle. The dam was bought to be an elite flat producer for $320,000 GNS in 2014. Although Final Approach didn't stick to the script, she has otherwise fulfilled her destiny by producing the useful sprinter Median German Group 2 scorer Parvana, sold by Taylor as a 2-year-old for €175,000 and resold by her next owners as a breeding prospect for €1 million. College Fund Girl has been covered by Churchill in recent weeks, having failed to get into fold to Frankel and Kingman, both to Southern Hemisphere time, in the last 2 seasons. "I always have one eye on Australia," Taylor says. "The temptation is strong because the prize money down there is so huge. You only need one good horse and it pays for all the bad ones. Up here having one good horse makes no difference." She has a yearling colt by Jetaway foaled in Ireland who I've sent down to New Zealand. Dun Dun, meanwhile, was bought 2 years after College Fund Girl for just €12,000 as a 4-year-old at the Tattersall's Ireland November National Hunt Sale. Remembering her purchase, Taylor continues, "I'd only bought her because I'd bought a bit of land and it's handy to have a few mares to get planning permission. So I sent a friend of mine off to buy a mare and that's what he came back with. She was in foal to Flemingsfirth, but the resultant colt was very small, and we sent her to Golan next, but the foal was no good, so I ended up giving away the first 2 foals out of her for free. I was starting to question why I'd bought Dun Dun, but the pedigree kept improving all the time. Master of the Hall came out, then Featherbed Lane and Pyrof Brown Eyes. None of those were on the page when we bought Dun Dun. Then Samcro was born, and he just looked so different to all the previous foals. He saved me from moving on the mare. Samcro is by Germany, sire of the great hurdler Faheen and fellow Cheltenham Festival winners Captain CB and Tiger Cry, but suffering declining fertility at Woodlands Stud in County Galway when Dundon visited him in 2011. I hunt with the Galway Blazers and Germany was at the local stud, so the mare just went up in the horse box, Taylor says. She can be hard to cover and Germany was infertile. He only covered 5 mares that year, so it was a mad decision, but it worked out well. Samcro was broken at 2 by Taylor's sister Millie, who runs his yard in County Meath, and pre-trained by Vincent Ward, who reported the horse was killing everything, even seasoned handicappers, in his work, before he was sent to the store sales at 3 with the intention more of qualifying him for lucrative bumpers than finding a buyer. My daughter hasn't forgiven me. Taylor sent Samcro to Colin Bowie at the end of his 3-year-old season, and the point-to-point maestro prepared him to cozily beat the then Gordon Elliott-trained Elegant Escape between the flags at Monk's Grange in the following spring. Everybody in the country was ringing me wanting the horse. Taylor remembers. I was only slightly interested in selling him, but the sales companies were offering free flights and all sorts to let them have him. The horse's next public appearance was at the inaugural Goffs UK entry sale, where he was bought by Elliott for £335,000 on behalf of Michael O'Leary. The rest, as they say, is history. If it was today, would I let him go again? No, says Taylor. He was a family pet, known as Rodney, and my daughter still hasn't forgiven me for selling him. Samcro goes under the hammer at Aintree after his impressive point-to-point victory Sarah Farnsworth, but at least Taylor has Samcro's 2-year-old half-sister by Jetaway, while Dundon returned to the stallion this year. Explaining why he is standing squarely behind the sire, a son of Cape Cross out of a sister to the late Blue Hen Hossili, who he bought in training from Jed Monty for 200,000 GNS, he says, I bought him to run in the Cups in Australia. He showed really good form down there and was 4th in the Caulfield Cup but got a terrible ride from Damien Oliver. He was in such good form he took a hold and ran away with a jockey. He was then 6th in the McCann, but it turned out he'd suffered a slight tendon injury at Caulfield. He could have done better in Australia. I think he could have been in the mix for the Melbourne Cup, but for a bit of bad luck. He has a superb Jed Monty pedigree and just looks like a proper stallion. In his racing days, he was always boss of the stables. Every horse, male or female it didn't matter, had to run for cover when Jetaway was coming. You'd hear a cry of Jetaway, Jetaway, from the lads and the place would just clear. He's a very fertile stallion, that's what he's got a name for. He's been given some very difficult mares to cover, and not only does he put them in full but he puts twins into most of them. Jetaway has certainly been popular with breeders in his first 3 years at Arctic Pack Stud in County Wexford, having covered 180 mares in his first season, 179 in his second and 136 in his third in 2017. No doubt about it then, Taylor is not the only breeder convinced by Jetaway's qualities. But would the unorthodox breeder join the chorus of voices calling Samcro the second coming? The answer is a firm yes. He could go anywhere he wants, he says. He'd win the Gold Cup or the Champion Hurdle, but Mr. O'Leary is a Gold Cup man and he'll go for that. He's a horse that minds himself. They realize how good he is. He'll win a number of Gold Cups. No doubt. If you enjoyed reading this, you might also like Glenview Stud gains the services of Hume's successful syndicate, hoping to be on to a winner at the Breeze Ups. Storm and Norman applying a jumping man's eye to the art of Breeze Ups.